Askreddit thread. What was your biggest shit, my parents were right moment? My mom told me that I get to choose the person I become. All you have to do is keep that thought in your head when making decisions. Also, every action has a reaction, so make sure the reaction will be a good one. It wasn't something I really listened to at the time. Now those thoughts stay with me all the time, and I have definitely become a better person for it. The author of Vorkosigan Saga, Lewis McMaster Bujold, had a great line that went, "When you choose an action, you are choosing the consequences to the action. When you desire consequence, you had damn well better take the action that would create it." Isn't that like common sense? I say that, but I know a lot of people who do stupid shit because they don't think about how it's going to actually affect them later on. Everything I do is calculated for a positive reaction on my part. I'm not excessively nice to everyone because I'm an excessively nice person. If anything, I'd love to just ignore everyone I meet. But the desired results from just being a pleasant person in general far outweigh what I want to do, which is just to not talk to people at all. You need to sleep more. I love sleep. I always have. Don't stress growing up. Enjoy your time as a child. Ooh, I knew that. Lucky kid I was. Childhood includes your early 20s, right? Well, they say you're not really an adult until 25, so yeah. 30 here and still not sure what the whole adult thing starts. If we can be honest, I only adult for 8 to 10 hours that I'm at work. I wish I could still be 30 and not consider myself an adult. That'd be cool. I liked a girl that was way out of my league in college. Told my mom about the bad crush and how I thought I would just move on. She said, "You can fail at something you don't want, so you might as well fail at something that matters." We've been married for 3 years this November. The crush, not my mother, and I. I don't know why that made me laugh. It's always better to regret an action than it is to regret something you've never done. Or is that's not the right way to say it. I'm pretty sure there's a more eloquent way to describe that. Better to regret the action than it is to regret the inaction. Oh, I'm pretty sure there's a good way to say it. All I know is I've gotten really good at apologizing. You can fail at something you don't want, so you might as well fail at something that matters. I don't understand this quote, but I appreciate the sentiment. Could you explain the part about failing at something you don't want? If you're going to fail, it might as well be for something you want. Better try to achieve something than never try at all, basically. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Awesome advice. Mine always told me if you don't ask for something, the answer is automatically no. But you're saying no to yourself for them. Along with worst case scenarios, they say no. But without asking, you aren't having a chance for yes. And this is similar enough that I may steal it. Let's see. Said to me as a young teenager, "I know it's hard to imagine now, but the age of 40 really isn't that far away. Before you know it, you'll hit 40 and wonder how that happened so fast." So true, especially if you're grown up. Usually when you're a kid, you're experiencing a whole bunch of stuff for the first time, and then as you grow older, you settle into a routine, go to work, come home, and repeat, and time seems to go by faster. That's why it seems like time, years take forever when you're littler, but they seem to go by like nothing once you're older. That's what the comment thread is. I'm only summarizing that because I've already read this thread beforehand. Be careful with credit cards. During my weekly column from my dad on Wednesdays, exactly at 7 p.m. for 20 plus years. Someday you're going to miss our conversations. God damn it, Dad. A phrase my mom always said to cheer me up while stressed in university. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Sounds so stupid at the time, but I've used the same line to cheer up countless friends who were stressed with exams, etc. Mom is always right. At age 18, you'll know everything. By age 25, you'll realize the world isn't as simple as you think. By 30, you'll be frightened that people trust your opinion when you don't know very much about the subject. I think I was like 13 or 14 when I thought I knew everything. until I met people who were a lot smarter than me, and that changed my perspective. I'm glad for that. I had a very short window of know-it-all, and I'm glad it didn't last any longer than a couple of weeks or months. Whew. At 25, I realized the world isn't as simple as you think. Well, considering my unusual childhood. I realized that real early on. There's always two sides to a story. Some people like to exaggerate. I was doing an entrance interview at a place. It's great to have you here, someone with experience, someone who can help guide our design decisions, who can mentor some of the younger engineers. I'm thinking, wait, are you talking about me? Holy shit, there's only you and me in this room, C plus B. And based on the responses, it looks like not only are there inmates running the asylum, but we also designed and built it, approved the plans, ordered and poured the concrete, installed the IT systems, went to medical school, and are also manning the College of Physicians, overseeing and running the asylum. My theory is that this is how it has always been. What? My father used to say, it's scary when you realize we're the competent ones. Yeah, I invest millions and millions of dollars for people. I'm 32 and they trust me. I have a pretty good handle on things, but man, I sure did become an adult while I wasn't looking. It really is nice to just clean up as you make a mess instead of living in your own filth. Yeah. But if your other roommates don't do it, then it kind of defeats the purpose. I mean, I still do it, but I always have to clean up after them too. It's a pain in the ass. It's a very minor inconvenience though. One I won't actually voice if I can help it. Just because all it would do is just make me feel a little better to vent my frustration. But it won't earn me the brownie points that I want. That makes my living situation pretty good. I don't know if it's just my brain. Wait, can confirm. Even half-ass clean as you go is infinitely better than nothing. I don't know if it's just my brain trying to patronize me, but I feel so much better after cleaning. I feel more focused and more likely to do something else of value. It's like once you start organizing things, it kind of snowballs. Trick is not to get bogged down in rearranging your books into new order, etc., when there is a bigger things to fix. My dad was always on me to budget everything. At 30, I understand it. My father bought me a book about finances for young people when I was in high school. We read it together. It helped me so much in college and beyond. I highly recommend parents do this with their teenagers, or at the very least, offer themselves for even the simplest questions on the topic. Do you remember the title of the book? Continuing Days in the Life of a Financial Advisor. So I've decided to give you one. There's too much to go over in one little post. I'm going to turn this into a little series of topics, including budgeting, debt resolution and prevention, credit cards, why not whole life, home student, I just read them all. Based on the 25,000 favorites and 1,000 PMs regarding financial advising, I have decided that you all need a financial education. Here, where should my money go? Emergency funds. Oh, look, there's like a little thing. Okay. Damn. Look at the cat. Wait, what's that with cat tax? One last thing you should shop for is employment. So many people focus on lowering their floor that they forget that they can lift their ceiling. If you're not making $12 to $17 an hour, you're not making enough money. If you're making that much, you're still not making enough money. If your budget is pretty balanced, then just throw out one application every time you pay rent. If your budget is tight, throw out 1 to 5 applications / day off, depending on how dire your situation is. If you don't ask, you'll never receive. If you're having trouble on the job hunt, feel free to send me a PM. I can help you with your resume. You can also blah blah blah. Look at the cute little kitty. Parents do not talk to the children enough about finances. Good for you and your folks. Yeah, blah blah. Ooh, I just got back from like a 4-mile run. I just ate a good breakfast, so I'm a little tired. Not mentally, just physically. I read a bunch of self-help books that told me not to stress out over little things, to let stuff go, and to forgive people in situations. I realized My mother's been saying this my whole life, and that I was just stubborn little shit to never listen. She's a cleaning lady and a custodian. Hearing her tell me to be at peace with life means infinitely more to me than it ever did reading out of any book. My parents had me cook dinner for the family once a week starting at 13, more often as I got older. I know I whined then, but now I'm grateful. Cooking is a great skill to have, and I can make a bunch of stuff with no recipe. It is so useful, healthy, and frugal. Take a coat. It's cold outside. One rule in life: never admit you're cold when you ignored your mom's advice to bring a jacket. You're lucky your parents still kiss. They would always tell me this after I got grossed out when they kissed as a little kid. I didn't really realize the huge truth behind that until I started going to friends' houses more and seeing their parents almost always argue and stay in separate rooms or something like that. Be thankful your parents smooch, goddammit. I'm 19 years old and can honestly say I've never seen my parents kiss before. Gross. My parents were always frugal and my cousins always got showered with video game consoles and gifts. I always thought it was unfair and often complained to my parents. Patiently, they would say, that's not how we're doing it. We're going to save our money. Wait, my cousins always got showered with video game consoles and gifts. Fast forward 15 years and my cousins are in massive debt, and my brother and I aren't, having learned how to save money. But at the time, though, it was totally unfair. You see, the thing is, you can still get, like, video game consoles and gifts and not go broke later on. You need to try and pay for as much food out of pocket as you can. Loans will come back to bite you. For as much school out of pocket as you can. Yeah, I don't have any loans, thankfully. I was driving a little too fast. My mom told me to slow down. I said, nah, it's fine. I never get pulled over. 25 seconds later, I see police lights behind me. How smug was she? She probably said slow down because she saw the speed trap and he didn't. You shouldn't eat an entire cake. It isn't good for you. First thing I did when I moved out from my parents' house was buy a cake and eat it. All of it. Because I was an adult and I could do what I want. It hurt. Why are you so dumb? Damn, people like their cakes. I should go get me one right now. That means you're not doing it enough. You gotta eat more to build up a tolerance. Like drinking. My girlfriend and I went to an ice cream place for breakfast on campus in our first month in college. We thought it was hilarious we could eat a giant thing of ice cream for breakfast. Woo! We were sick in bed all day. Don't touch the iron. It's hot. Fuck you, Mom. I don't believe in thermodynamics. What the fuck, Mom? It's not even emitting visible light rays. It's not that hot. Yeah, come on. It's still peaking in infrared. Stop hanging out with those girls. I have a bad feeling about them. What bad stuff ended up happening to those girls? One was an emotional wreck who dragged me into all sorts of drama, and the other turned out to be very manipulative and backstabbing. So they turned 16. Oops, I coughed a little bit. I didn't mean to laugh that hard. Don't balance the full can of orange paint on the roof like that. Thank you for the gold, oh merciful internet friend. Never knew being a dickhead could be so rewarding. Also, words and shit. The fuck are you doing on the roof with a full can of orange paint? And where do you keep the orange paint, Mr. Fancy Sleeves? You'll need a plunger in your new house. At first I wondered why I would ever need one since we never used it at my old house. Immediately regret not getting one when shit got real. A plunger is one of those things you absolutely must buy before you need it. So true. Don't trust modern pricks. P.Y. Rex. I don't know why. I did not know this till my fucking pan decided to explode all over my kitchen. I'm still finding glass shards. Oh, did you put glass on the stove? Yeah, because those like blow up. A tiny silver bowl. I was eating applesauce out of it and exploded mid-bite. I didn't even heat the container or anything. I thought it was magical. Oh my god, yes. You want the old clear Pyrex, not the new shitty Chinese stuff that has bluish tint to it. Pyrex was perfect. What the fuck were they thinking? That it was so perfect, people only ever bought one set. People still only buy one set. It breaks and they switch to another brand. Buy it once. Pyrex. Last time this was mentioned here, someone posted an infographic that they made. Check the logo and buy their old stuff or stuff made in Europe. Don't listen to your headphones so loud. Tinnitus is a son of a bitch. Electronic music induced tinnitus, doubly so. Clean your room, wash your clothes, brush the cat, clear your internet search history. Was Dad into furry porn? Both parents were. He came into the world wearing a fursuit. Things don't matter, people matter. Once you've buried a loved one, the importance of getting the newest cell phone just doesn't matter at all. Once you've buried a loved one, it's important to remember that things will matter again. If they don't, seek help. Not all your friends need to be forever friends. Some people are just meant to be your friends for that particular time in your life. So true. I really wish someone had told me that when I was in college. I held on to my past and never made new friends. Must have been nice to grow up in the same school all your life. I had to move to a new one every year. My girlfriend did the same thing. Now most of her friends are my friends that I introduced her to. This is what my friend's mother told me about dating girls. That this girl you're with will probably not be your wife, so let her go when the time is right. Ugh. Mine told me don't date what you wouldn't marry. So many missed opportunities. Yeah, that's dumb. I've had the fuck yes or no mentality, and had regrets like you. I then tried seeing people I wasn't really into that much, but who I thought I should give a shot. It was nice in a way, but I ended up leading people on and not having that great a time. Also, not that I wanted to cheat, but I was too mess away from cheating, and that was way too close for me. It's better to be alone than seeing/dating/being with a person you're not that into. Yeah, I can agree with that. That's my philosophy, at least. My mom always said there are 3 kinds of friends. Friends for a reason, friends for a season, and friends for a lifetime. Some of your friends are only friends because of a common activity. Others are friends for only a small portion of your life. Acknowledging that at the beginning of the college was one of the most important things for me to do, to be able to gather the gumption to make new friends. My mom would make us clean the house before we left on any sort of vacation. I would always bitch and moan because who cares if it's clean? We aren't even going to be here. Fast forward to adulthood and goddamn if it doesn't feel good to return to a clean house. Dad, go to college and get a degree. You don't want to work like this your whole life. Went to college, fucked around, didn't get a degree. Currently working the way he did. He said I didn't want to work my whole life. He was right, this sucks. That's the reason my mom gives me. Both parents work at restaurants, not high-end ones, not in high positions. Mom wants me to do one school so I don't have to work bad hours like her, but a good job with good hours and not menial labor. Do you have any advice for me? I was 21 years old, living in a share house. Girlfriend plus 2 other roommates. Struggling to pay even the most necessary of my bills to the point where I had to make decisions between gas or food. I was sitting there and wallowing in self-pity when I realized that she was my age. My mother had already left my father, was living on her own in a townhouse about the same size as the one I had to share with 3 other adults, just to be able to afford it, and even then she was still able to give us everything we needed to survive. Realizing that my mom was way better an adult than I was hit me like a slap in the face, and it really put a lot of my childish/bad decisions into sharp focus. I called her to tell her I was sorry for all the shit I'd ever given her, for not getting what all the other kids had, and to thank her for giving me as good a life as she did. Later that year, when my life finally fell all the way apart, she took me back in and helped me get my life back on track in very short order. That was almost 20 years ago, and today I'm doing pretty well as a husband, father, and professional. Oh, you see, with mine, it was like, you don't want to end up like your mother, do you? Because my mom was a drug addict. So literally doing the most minimum thing would make you better. Dad left me with something cool before he died. Wanting to fuck somebody over and over for the rest of your life isn't love. Wanting to be with somebody for the rest of your life, no matter how many times life fucks you both over and over, could be. Somehow it seems awesome knowing that my dad left you guys something cool. Math is cumulative, they said. If you don't do your homework every day, you'll be lost at finals, they said. No shit. It's almost like the stuff at the beginning of the semester is just like the groundwork for the stuff you'll be learning later on. Will this exam be cumulative? Life is cumulative. Yes, but I'm only asking about the exam. Is it cumulative? Teachers gaze off wistfully. I'm so excited for my socks that should be arriving today. My mother always told me I was grateful for gifts of clothes. I never believed her. You'll hate everybody you work with if you try to get into film. I know you like movies and like making them, but most of the people you'll have to deal with will be insufferable. You just don't understand me. One day, into my Intro to Film Studies course, I couldn't take it anymore. I never looked back. As a former film editor, I can attest to this. The film world is full of pretentious, self-made assholes who always know better than you about everything. Perfect, I'll fit right in. I'll fit in better, trust me. Ugh, yes, glad I'm not the only one. I just quit the industry last year. At first I felt like a failure, but I see all my friends on Facebook grinding it out in New York and I don't miss it at all. Fuck 20-hour days and fuck the art department. I still miss making stuff and building sets, but I can do that without going a full month without sleep and risking my health and sanity. Same goes for music. I was a guitar prodigy as a child, and I played a lot of gigs as a kid and teenager. Then as soon as I started to learn about money, I realized I was getting shafted by everyone. And then when I joined a band, I realized how musicians are unprofessional narcissists and venue owners are dishonest slobs. I learned that the industry is about who you know and who you fuck, and even then getting a break is like getting struck by lightning when getting bitten by a shark during a plane crash. Then one night, we were playing a charity benefit concert to raise money for leukemia research. The venue owner worked in some clause in the contract about guaranteed minimum attendance and bar sales. The event didn't go so well, so we didn't get as many people as we expected. Not only did the venue owner keep all the money, he threatened to sue the charity to cover the contract minimums. They ended up paying him off. He literally took money away from kids with leukemia. I never played another gig. Wow, what a dick. I have a little more casual advice from my dad. Don't keep your hands in your pockets because if you lose balance and fall over, you won't be able to put out hands quickly enough and you will hit your nose. I disregarded his advice. Guess what happened 5 minutes later? I can't believe that your dad tripped you. Actually, we were really cool parents. Turned out to be true. They were really awesome parents to have. Yeah, I didn't realize just how lucky I was to have the parents I did until I found out about how some other people's parents were. I grew up in a middle-class home with both parents around, and neither one of them was abusive, mean, or overly strict. I was, and still am, very fortunate, and it took growing up a bit to realize that. I think one of the biggest wake-up calls to me was during my freshman year of college, when I was complaining to someone else about how annoying my father was for nagging me about going out too late on weekend nights when I was 19. The other person replied, "At least your dad didn't throw you down a flight of stairs when you were 4 and leave you when you were 6. I always gotta do the, well, my life's worse than yours. My mom always said everything will be alright in the end. If it's not alright, it's not the end. That's kind of stuck with me through my many breakups, many jobs going south. It keeps me optimistic and makes me work towards being better. I got married at the age of 20. I was too young. They were right. You can't fly with the eagles if you sleep with the pigeons. Turns out the wrong friends really can hold you back and drag you down. Something I learned the hard way. Don't hang out with people that don't care if they get in trouble. They definitely don't care if you get in trouble. Ooh, so true. A girl about 13 got caught by my store security trying to steal a box of colored pencils. She was stopped at the door and I was called over to handle it. The girl looked super scared and about to cry. As I approached, I saw her friends, a couple of guys and a girl outside the store, watching through the windows. They were laughing, hooting, and hollering at the situation. I leaned into the girl and said, "Are those your friends?" She nodded, yes. I said, "Did they put you up to this?" And she nodded, yes. I said, "Real friends don't encourage you to do bad things and then laugh when you get in trouble. Get some real friends and don't come back here unless you're with your parents." She nodded and I let her go. I hope she found some better friends. Aw. What a poor dumb girl. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Up yours, kindergarten teacher. This is an excellent phrase. When I use it on my kids, I shall pretend I thought of it. Thanks. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I was dating this girl in high school who my parents really didn't like. They were nice to her, but I heard from my mom frequently that she was no good. After a year, she, girl, not mom, cheated on me. Thought this was gonna end worse. Like what? She killed his parents? Chill, Batman. My dad was sick and dying while I was in high school. During that time, he sat down and read everything he could about student loans for college. He made me promise him I would always buy this optional loan insurance. It added a couple $100 to every damn loan. I had people try to talk me out of it, and I always had to say I had promised my dad, who was now dead. Just as I finished my studies, I got sick. I took a while longer to figure out it was incurable and I was going to be chronically ill the rest of my life. The insurance paid off my student loans and took one big stressor out of my life. So even though my daddy was dead, he was taking care of me. Even my mother told me I didn't need that insurance. He was right. I needed it. Wow. Good for you for listening to him. One day you'll get bored of going out to clubs. My ex-boyfriend was an asshole. Not so much my parents were right as holy shit, that was his plan. I have a 5-year-old and live in Texas. Mowing the lawn is a bitch in the summer heat. I'm mowing the lawn one summer. My 5-year-old is peeking through the window from inside the air-conditioned house, drinking a juice box. I think to myself, damn, I can't wait for the boy to be old enough to do this bullshit. I should get him one of those bubble-blowing lawnmowers to get him used to the idea. Then it hit me. My parents had a picture of me following my dad mowing the lawn with my little toy mower, which in retrospect is super dangerous. I'm lucky I didn't get hit by rocks or something. The old man wasn't trying to spend time with me. He was training his replacement. Mowing the lawn is the worst. I'm so glad we have a desert landscape. My dad taught me and made me mow the backyard on my old push mower that he used as a kid. Absolutely hated it. Oh, well, hey, your Gramps got an old gas-powered one. A little rusty, but it still works great. You might like it better. Boy, was I suckered in. He knew exactly what he was doing. Wait, I don't understand. Was your father's mower one of these? Yep. But the handle was made of wood. That's how old it was. He Tom Sawyered me with that old thing to trick me into using the gas mower. Wow. Did he also teach you to wax his car like this? Funny, I remember my dad trained me at an early age too. He just told me he was super tired from work, shift work is tough, and I would do it, but every dad is a visionary. My dad always told me not to rush to grow up. I wanted to be 16 so I could drive, 18 so I can go on those porn websites, 21 so I can go to the bars. Now I'm 30 and wish I was 12. 18, should I go to this porn website? Should we tell him? Nah, he's 30 now. He'll be fine. Let's see. My dad is a doctor. Alright, this will be the last one. This video's long enough. My whole life growing up, I ate like cereals, Cheerios, cookies. He didn't smoke or drink and only ate healthy stuff. He grew up poor and the son of a farm worker, so he never got to eat junk food, and later on in life he found it disgusting. So I thought it was just a matter of taste. He would harugu us about how bad this stuff is for you, this and that, and we mostly ignored it. In med school, the first few autopsies we attended showed us just how fucked your body inside becomes on an unhealthy diet. Atherosclerosis makes your arteries hard as bones. The pathologists used them to tap a rhythm on the table. Smoker's lungs so black it was hard to tell what was what. Then the fumology rotations began, and we could see it in the living. Obese individuals with COPD, barely able to breathe or talk, diabetic, immobile, with heart failure, day after day, meeting individuals in their 50s whose bodies were wrecked, and who would always filled their history forms with smoker, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, etc. Cholesterol through the moon. Fat as fuck, no exercise, drinkers. The ravages of alcohol makes themselves shown quite often too. It's horrific. Your body is tough as fuck, but people underestimate just how bad these things are for you. I don't drink, smoke, and I don't eat junk food, and I avoid red meat like the devil itself these days. Never felt better. I still remember the pathologist tapping on coronary arteries so occluded and hard they resembled chico bones. Fuck that shit. You see, you shouldn't be too worried about junk food and stuff like that, because as long as you do it in moderation, it's fine. The people he's talking about are probably, super fat people who eat like 5,000 calories a day. That's ridiculous. Smoking and drinking, though, that's totally something you should just avoid completely. But a lot of people don't. I mean, you'll be fine as long as you do that in moderation too, but it's not good for you. Like in the you'll probably die in 50 years from cancer kind of way. No, guys, the occasional beer and glass of wine won't kill you. Red meat once in a while is okay too. A donut once in a while eating your grandma's cake are also fine. I avoid these things due to personal preferences and desire to eliminate possible habit-building behavior. Smoking, however, will ruin your life after you're 50. That's indisputable. Lack of exercise is also a huge factor in quality of life later on. These things are non-negotiable for your body. So yeah, he kind of gets it. You can eat a little bit more than just once in a while, just as long as you understand how calories affect your body. As long as you're eating about the same amount of calories as you're spending every day, you should be fine. If you're eating more, you're going to gain weight. If you eat less, you'll lose weight. It's really very simple stuff. And junk food has tons and tons of calories in it. So you can eat all those donuts you want, but that's probably going to be all the food you can eat for the day if you don't want to get fat. You will have one... Oh shit, I said that was going to be the last one. Okay.